was round 1. Now I want to go to round 2, which is about job search. It's a very important issue, how to find the job and we're talking about the formal recruitment, the formal part of recruitment. Right? So I have one question. It's from Neda Naragi. Neda? Naragi. How do you say that?
Because it's an Iranian.
Oh, good. It's an Iranian. Is it he or she? She. She wants to know.
We wouldn't know.
No, well, I guess it's sort of. So she asks, I want to know more about headhunting. And I wanted to ask this question because we have a full-blooded headhunter in our midst. So,
Also
I mean,
the president.
of course we want to hear from you, Thorsten.
Yes.
But maybe we want to hear something from the rest of them as well.
What's the specific question, or could we narrow it down to something that I can...
Is Nida here? Then we could get the answer. She couldn't come, I guess. Anyone who has a specific question about headhunting, you can ask it now.
Yeah. Or I could
Yeah,
connect
go
it
ahead.
with something.
Yeah, please.
How many applications do you normally receive for one position, approximately? You can say.
We receive like the rest of the guys here. We receive very many applications.
100,
Hundreds,
200,
hundreds.
500?
But we work in a special way in my company to try to diminish the number by raising the bar in the positions that we offer. So we will tell exactly what we need, and therefore we would, in many cases, not receive that many applicants. But you hear, all of you have heard this, there are hundreds of applicants for some jobs. And if a job is more general in nature and not a specialist job, then that is the case in Denmark. We would have a lot of applications for it. Yeah.
And do you have this system in place where you have this couple of candidates, you can say, like, they're already, when they fill out some questions, they're already removed, like you don't want to talk?
No, we don't do that in my company. We work actually very much face-to-face because that's the way I'm also conservative. I really like that. But the systems that are in place can do this. And we know that large companies in Denmark can do this. They have point systems for CVs and things that you go into a website and you fill in a form. And if you don't live up to certain standards, you will be rejected. And there are also companies in Denmark that send out personality tests right away, for instance. So you get a personality test without even ever engaging with a person. So these things are in place to make the number less. Yeah, but that's not how headhunting actually works.
No,
right?
that was
Yeah.
Well, sorry, that was you had a question about headhunting.
Yes,
Yeah.
what are your 5 top criteria after which you choose your people, and are those criteria from your company, or does your client tell you, I want this and this and this? Or
It's always the client who... Yeah, sorry.
it is a mix of criteria from your company and the client, or how do you...
Okay, yes. The question was if I could name the 5 top criteria, right? And then also if it's our criteria. The answer for the last question is it's always the client's criteria. It's never ours. We are just a middleman. We're just a consultant. We don't have an opinion. Of course we do, and we try to help our clients to have better processes, of course, right? And that's part of our job. That is to challenge our client. But we work for clients, so the different types of engagements we have are always based on what our clients need. We are always looking for someone who is matching the competencies that we have asked for. It's relatively simple and logical thing that if you have a position that is open, and normally the fields where I'm working is for specialists, then it is an engineer who knows something about two-tax motors or whatever. It's called two-stroke motors, right? So if you're looking for an engineer who has worked 10 years within two-stroke motoring or engines in Germany, that's what we're looking for. And if you don't fill those criteria, you cannot go on. Right? I'd like to add a little bit extra. We're also looking for the motivation. That's actually where I agree with
I think I didn't formulate it right. I was maybe asking also about some soft skills.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Soft skills.
Yes. The thing that we found out by surveying things over 15 years of recruitments is what actually keeps a person in a job is their primary motivation for the job. If that matches the company and what the company works for, like you heard, the enthusiasm can sometimes actually get you the job. And of course, we will always look for the motivation. So when you are filling out your applications, be sure to say what drives me, what makes me happy, what makes me jump out of the bed in the morning. So these things are important, and we look for that. We actually we encompass it in the recruiting process and how we exclude and include candidates. So go on what you are doing, because I think you are doing it, right? Yeah.
I have a question about where I have to be seen to be hunted by the headhunter.
Yes.
Good question.
Where would you
Why
guess?
are you not headhunting me, for example?
Yeah. Where would you guess that I would look for you?
LinkedIn.
Okay. Right. So LinkedIn and all the job databases in Denmark, of course, Job Index, Stepstone, IT Job Bank, whatever base or database corresponds to what your background is. But definitely LinkedIn, and try to link with everybody. Try to link with the 5 of us after this event. Link with me, link with other headhunters. Everything you can do. Yeah, do it. Link with everybody. Try to be noticed, and of course, if you can come to events like this and network with other people, it's important. When you network with the people who actually have the jobs.
Right. Thank you, Thorsten. We had a small reply on this with LinkedIn. What are you saying, Marianne?
Well, I said, I'm sorry, but I have to say that I would not accept if all of you tried to link up.
No, okay.
I would.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Any more short comment on recruitment seen from the other side, from the client side? Are you using recruiters, recruitment companies, or headhunters like this?
No, normally we will use recruiters, have our own recruiters if we can do the job ourselves. If it's very difficult, then we will go to a search. My advice would be that it all comes down to having a really good CV and application. So I think if you have a very good CV and an application, you should send it everywhere where it could be useful. To the searchers, to the companies, whatever. But the backbone is the CV and the application. And you should be very targeted. You should not lie too much. And you should not be too modest. And not too honest. Too modest.
Modest. Too honest.
So you know. So it's like real estate. If you have a very good description of a house which is really shit, then shit comes out. So you have to have a very good CV.
Thanks, Lars. Marianne, you had a
just
short...
very short. I mean, in the public sector, you don't apply for jobs which doesn't exist. You only apply for the jobs which is in JobNet or which we're looking for. We don't do anything with CVs, which is just an application, which is just sent to us. We don't have any staff who's looking after that. So
we're talking unsolicited applications.
Yes.
We'll have this at a later
yes,
point.
I did know the
Okay,
word.
good.
Thank you.
So, a short remark on
Okay,
this,
short
Peter?
remark, yeah. We don't use headhunters much. They've become cheaper now, but they used to be very expensive. But we do the things ourselves. So we send out psychometric tests and that kind of thing that people fill in their home on the internet. And then we get the results. And so advice from me would be know about psychometric tests, know what to do and not to do when you deal with them. One piece of advice, for instance, there are many, but one is don't try to manipulate them.
The tests.
The tests.
Could we have a short... tests is one of the questions raised. Short comments on tests, more good advice on tests, because they are all over the place. How to deal with them. Don't try to manipulate them. Answer honestly on the tests.
Yeah.
This is what you're saying?
Yeah.
More advice on tests.
Yeah, I'll tell you why you shouldn't manipulate.
Okay, yeah.
I was once giving advice to somebody who was searching for a job, and he went for several interviews, and everybody liked him in that new company. And the manager went so far, the hiring manager went so far as to say, well, you're actually hired, you know. There's just one thing, you have to go through a psychometric test with people in HR. And he was very happy, and he celebrated with his wife, and he came back to the company, and he met the HR guy, gave him the test, and he filled in the test, and he was called into the interview room, and there was the HR consultant, and there was the hiring manager, and hiring manager, she was sitting, HR consultant had to say, I'm sorry, you didn't get the job. And why didn't he get the job? He came back to me, and we had a discussion about why he didn't get the job. And we finally found out why. This guy had been a manager, and he had this great fear in him. You know, that was sort of, we had a coaching tour. He had this great fear in him that having been a manager, he wouldn't want in any way to think that he would dominate the manager who was hiring in this new place, in the new company. So every time there was a question about management, he gave it low score, low score, low score, with the result that he came out in the end as being sort of without initiative, without forward-seeing, without plans, without anything, and the HR consultant said, sorry, Carl.
I love that you're giving a very specific case. This is very useful, Peter. Thanks for that. You have a remark, Lars?
Yeah, you shouldn't be afraid of these tests. I mean, they're just tests. Be yourself and fill in the form. What the thing that gets you the job will be your personality. If that is matching the company that you're facing, then you'll get the job, even though you scored lousy in the test. That's fine.
Marianne?
That's true, yes, on the personality. But on the logic test, which also a lot of companies is using, many companies simply just take the top quartile from the logic test and go to the internet and train yourself in doing logic tests, because it's basically something you can train yourself in. And I see a lot of people failing on the logic test, people who, according to their CV and people who I also believe are a lot brighter, but for some reason we have this, at least that there's a big chance that you fail a logic test, so get familiar with it.